What's going on, you guys? Welcome to Beyond the Biomarkers. I'm your host, Kerri Rachelle, Doctor of Integrative and Natural Medicine candidate, registered dietitian, functional medicine practitioner, and educator. I've dedicated my career to uncovering the root causes of symptoms, disease, and dysfunction, and now I train the next generation of registered dietitians to practice functional medicine with more depth, discernment, and real-world impact. In each episode, we go beyond the biomarkers, beyond surface-level labs, beyond symptoms and one-size-fits-all protocols, to understand the real-life systems that shape how we feel, heal, work, and live. This podcast is your toolkit for transforming health and remembering that healing doesn't have to be so heavy. Together, we make the science practical, the messy middle honest, and the process a little more fun. We're connecting the dots between the body, the mind, and the environment we live in, so you can build health with more energy, freedom, and joy, because our health truly is our happiness. Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Beyond the Biomarkers, the podcast where we explore the science of health and turn it into practical strategies that help you feel better, perform better, and live better. I'm your host, Kerri Rachelle, Doctor of Integrative Medicine candidate, registered dietitian nutritionist, functional medicine practitioner, and founder of Revolution. Today, I want to ask a question that I think we've been answering incorrectly for years. Why are so many Americans overweight, exhausted, inflamed, anxious, and living with chronic disease? The answer most people hear is simple. We don't eat well, we don't exercise enough, and we've become lazy. I don't believe that's true. I don't believe millions of people wake up every morning wanting to feel exhausted. I don't believe parents want to struggle to keep up with their kids. I don't believe people choose brain fog, chronic pain, poor sleep, or a growing list of medications. I think something much bigger has happened. Over the past several decades, we've become incredibly good at optimizing our lives for convenience, speed, productivity, and entertainment. But somewhere along the way, we stopped optimizing them for human health. Our environment has changed dramatically, but our biology hasn't. The human body still needs nutrient-dense food, movement, sunlight, sleep, meaningful relationships, purpose, and recovery. Yet many of us spend our days sitting under artificial lights, eating meals on the go, answering emails while we eat, scrolling before bed, and wondering why we never seem to feel our best. Here's the encouraging part. Your body isn't working against you. Most of the time, it's doing exactly what it was designed to do. Adapt to the environment it's given. And if that's true, it also means something incredibly hopeful. If we can change the environment, we can often change the outcome. That's what we're exploring today. Not the latest diet or supplement trend, but how we've unintentionally built a lifestyle that works against our biology and how we can start designing one that works with it instead. If you've ever felt like you've done everything right but still not feeling your best, or you've wondered why health feels so much harder today than it should, this episode is for you. So let's dive in. Over the next few minutes, we're going to explore how we got here. We'll talk about how America became optimized for convenience instead of health, why your body is often responding exactly as biology predicts, what we've lost along the way, and most importantly, how you can begin designing an environment that helps your body thrive instead of constantly working against it. I don't want this episode to leave you feeling discouraged. I want it leaving you feeling empowered. Once you understand why your body responds the way it does, you can start making small, intentional changes that create lasting results. So let's start by looking at the world we've built. 100 years ago, daily life looked very different. People walked more because they had to. Meals were prepared at home because there weren't many alternatives. Work often involved physical labor. Children played outside until the streetlights came on. Families gathered around the dinner table. Entertainment wasn't available 24 hours a day, and no one carried a device in their pocket competing for their attention every few minutes. Today, our lives look almost unrecognizable. We wake up to an alarm instead of the sun. Before our feet hit the floor, many of us are already checking emails, social media, or the news. We sit in the car on the way to work, sit at a desk for much of the day, eat lunch while answering emails, and then drive home mentally exhausted. Dinner becomes whatever is quickest, and before we know it, we're sitting on the couch, scrolling through our phones or watching television until it's time for bed. None of those choices make us bad people. In fact, most of them make perfect sense. They're efficient, they're convenient, they're the defaults we've created. And that's the point. Our modern world has become incredibly good at helping us save time, reduce effort, and maximize convenience. We have groceries delivered, meals brought to our door, and almost any product arrive on our doorstep within a day. We can work, shop, bank, and socialize without ever leaving the house. Those innovations aren't the enemy. They've made life better in countless ways. The problem is that while we've optimized nearly everything for convenience, we haven't asked whether we've optimized it for human biology. Our bodies weren't designed to sit for 10 hours a day. They weren't designed to eat every meal from a package. They weren't designed to stare at bright screens late into the evening or exist in a constant state of notifications, deadlines, and chronic stress. Our technology has evolved rapidly. Our biology hasn't. And when the environment changes faster than our biology can adapt, we begin seeing the consequences, not because our bodies are failing, but because they're responding exactly the way they're designed to. That realization changes everything. Your body isn't broken, it's adapting. One of the biggest misconceptions in health is that our bodies suddenly stop working. Most of the time, they don't. They adapt. That's what the human body was designed to do. If you spend months sleeping 5 hours a night, your body adapts. If you're constantly stressed, it adapts. If you spend most of the day sitting, it adapts. If you're eating mostly ultra-processed foods because they're convenient, it adapts. If you rarely see the sun, don't build muscle, and never truly disconnect from work, it adapts. The question isn't whether your body is adapting. The question is, what is it adapting to? As a functional medicine dietitian, I spend a lot of time helping people connect the dots between their environment and their symptoms. Someone comes in exhausted, struggling to lose weight, waking up at 3 a.m, craving sugar all afternoon, dealing with brain fog, inflammation, digestive issues, or feeling like they're aging faster than they should. They often think their body is working against them. But when we step back and look at the bigger picture, those symptoms usually make sense. If you're chronically stressed, your body will prioritize survival over thriving. If you're under-fueling, overworking, and under-recovering, your body responds. If you're losing muscle because you aren't eating enough protein or challenging your body with resistance training, your metabolism changes. If you're sleeping poorly night after night, the hormones that regulate hunger, blood sugar, recovery, and energy begin to shift. That's not failure. That's physiology. Your body is constantly gathering information from its environment and asking one simple question: what do I need to do to survive here? Every meal, every workout, every hour of sleep, every stressful meeting, every relationship, every moment you spend outside, and every moment you spend staring at a screen, they're all pieces of information your body uses to decide how it should function. That's why functional medicine is about so much more than treating symptoms. It's about understanding why your body made those adaptations in the first place. Because once you understand why, you can begin changing the environment that's driving them. That's incredibly empowering. Your body isn't your enemy. In many ways, it's been doing exactly what it was designed to do all along. Now we simply need to give it a better environment to respond to. So if our environment shapes our biology, the next question becomes, what kind of environment were we designed to live in? Not a perfect one, not one without stress, but one that supports the way human beings have functioned for thousands of years. One of the things I appreciate most when I travel to parts of Europe isn't the food itself, it's the pace. People walk because their communities were built for walking. Meals are something of an experience, not something to rush through in the car. Friends meet for coffee without looking at the clock every 5 minutes. Families linger around the dinner table. Parks are filled with children playing. Conversations happen face to face instead of through a screen. And when everyone is at that dinner table, no one has their phones out. Is every part of Europe healthy? Of course not. That's not the point. The point is that many of those communities have protected some of the rhythms of being human. And somewhere along the way, many of us have lost those rhythms. We've become so efficient that we've squeezed out many of the very things that make us healthy. Movement became exercise instead of simply being part of daily life. Meals became fuel instead of connection. Rest started to feel lazy instead of necessary. Play became something children do instead of something adults need. We've become more connected digitally than at any point in history, yet loneliness has become one of the greatest public health challenges of our time. It's worth asking ourselves, what if health has always been more than food and fitness? What if it also depends on belonging, on purpose, on laughter, relationships, time outside, meaningful work, on moments where we're fully present with the people we love? Research continues to show that these things matter. Strong relationships are associated with longer lives. Time in nature helps reduce stress. Walking supports metabolic health. Shared family meals are linked with healthier eating patterns and stronger emotional well-being. Maybe these aren't extras. Maybe they're part of the foundation. As a dietitian, I absolutely care about protein, fiber, vitamins, minerals, blood sugar, and inflammation. Those things matter tremendously. But health is never just about nutrients. It's about creating a life where your cells and ultimately your whole body have what they need to thrive. Because biology doesn't only respond to what you eat. It responds to how you live. So if that's true, then maybe the goal isn't finding more willpower. Maybe the goal is building an environment that makes healthy living almost automatic. Because health isn't something you find, it's something you design. So design your environment, not just your habits. This is where I think we've gotten health backwards. We spend so much time trying to build more motivation. But motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll wake up energized and ready to conquer the world. Other days, you may be exhausted from work, a poor night's sleep, or just life. If your health depends on feeling motivated every day, eventually you'll lose. Instead, build an environment where a healthy choice becomes the easy choice. Think about it. If fresh fruit is washed and sitting on the counter, you're more likely to grab it. If cookies are sitting there instead, you'll probably reach for those. If your walking shoes are by the front door, you're more likely to take that walk. If they're buried in the back of your closet, you'll probably find another excuse. Or if your workout's already on your calendar, it becomes an appointment instead of a decision. If your phone stays in another room during dinner, you're more likely to be fully present with the people sitting across from you. Those aren't examples of extraordinary discipline. They're examples of thoughtful design. The healthiest people I know aren't necessarily the most disciplined people I know. They've simply created environments where healthy choices happen more often than unhealthy ones. And that's a very different way of thinking. Instead of asking yourself, how can I become more motivated? Start asking, how can I make this easier? Can you prepare tomorrow's lunch tonight? Can you schedule a walking meeting instead of sitting in another conference room? Can you keep a water bottle on your desk instead of relying on remembering to hydrate? Can you charge your phone outside of the bedroom so you're not tempted to scroll before bed? Can you put strength training on your calendar the same way you would a doctor's appointment or an important meeting? These may seem like small changes, but remember what we've talked about throughout this episode. Your body is constantly responding to the environment around it. Small changes in that environment create thousands of healthier decisions over time. And those decisions begin shaping your identity. Eventually, you're not forcing yourself to live a healthy lifestyle. You're simply living in an environment that supports one. And that's what I mean when I say health isn't something you find, it's something you design. But even the best designed environment can't make your decisions for you. At some point, you still have to choose to participate in your own health. So become the main character. Here's something I tell patients all the time. No one will ever care about your health as much as you do. Not your physician, not your dietitian, not your trainer, not your spouse, not your smartwatch. That isn't meant to sound discouraging. It's actually one of the most empowering realizations that you can have, because it means you have far more influence than you think. You know when your energy started changing. You know when your clothes stopped fitting the same. You know when you stopped sleeping through the night. You know when your stress became chronic. You know your body better than anyone else ever will. That doesn't mean you have to figure it out alone. It means you're an essential member of your healthcare team. Be curious. Ask questions. If your provider says your labs are normal, ask to see them. Ask what they mean. Ask what could be improved before something becomes disease. If you're prescribed a medication, understand why you're taking it. Ask what lifestyle changes can support it. Ask what the long-term plan is. The best healthcare isn't something that's done to you, it's something you participate in. At Revolution, one of the things we say all the time is that we want patients to become active participants in their own health, not passive recipients of healthcare. Those are two very different things. Passive patients wait for someone else to fix the problem. Active participants learn. They ask questions, they notice patterns, they celebrate progress, they understand that every meal, every workout, every walk, every good night's sleep, and every boundary they set, and let's go, every conversation they have with a healthcare provider is another investment in the future they're creating. That's what becoming the main character means. Not believing you have all the answers, not rejecting medical advice, not trying to do everything yourself. It means recognizing that this is your life, your body, and your future. No one else gets to live in it for you. So be curious. Advocate for yourself. Find healthcare professionals who listen. And surround yourself with people who support the life you're trying to build. Because the most important person on your healthcare team has always been you. So if there's one thing I hope you take away from today's episode, it's this. Design the life your biology recognizes. So where do we go from here? I hope you don't leave this episode thinking you need to overhaul your entire life tomorrow. In fact, I hope you don't, because that's usually where people get stuck. They get inspired to change everything at once, become overwhelmed, and a few weeks later, they're right back where they started. Instead, I want you to choose one thing, just one. Take a 10-minute walk after dinner, or cook one more meal at home this week. Something you've been wanting to do. Think about it, figure it out, and do it this week. Now, that one thing won't transform your health overnight, but that's never how health was built in the first place. Your health today is the result of thousands of small decisions you've made over the course of your life. The great news is that your future health will be built exactly the same way. One decision, one habit, one day at a time. Now, we started this episode by asking why so many Americans are struggling with their health. I don't believe it's because we've become lazy. I think we've created a world that's incredibly efficient, but one that often works against biology we've carried for thousands of years. The good news is that environments can be redesigned. You don't have to move to another country. You don't have to throw away your technology. You don't have to strive for perfection. You simply have to become intentional. Create a home that makes healthier choices easier. Protect time for movement, for sleep, relationships, peace. Because every decision you make is sending a message to your body. Every meal, walk, workout, every night of restorative sleep, every meaningful conversation, every moment you spend outside. Those choices are helping shape the person you're becoming. At Revolution, we believe healthy cells build healthy humans. Healthy humans build healthy families, and healthy families build healthier communities. Health has never been just about living longer. It's about having the energy to fully live while you're here, to show up for your family, to pursue your purpose, to play with your kids, to lead, to serve, to enjoy the life you're working so hard to build. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you're designing a life. The only question is whether it's one your biology recognizes. Again, health isn't something you find, it's something you design. And when you begin designing a life your biology recognizes, you create more than better lab results. You create more energy, more freedom, more resilience, more joy, because our health truly is our happiness. If today's conversation resonated with you, don't wait until your next diagnosis, your next lab result, or next Monday to start investing in yourself. You can start now. At Revolution, our team of functional medicine dietitians works with people across the country to connect the dots, interpret labs, uncover root causes, and build personalized plans that fit real life. Simply request an appointment at revolution.com. That's REV, the number 0, LUTION.com. Until next time, remember, your body isn't working against you. It's responding to the life you've built around it. Start changing your environment, and your biology will often begin changing with it. And as a result, you create a life filled with more freedom, more purpose, and more joy, because our health truly is our happiness. See you in the next episode.